Hello, hello. We are here with week number 3 of season number 1 of 2024. Yep. 3, 2, 1, something.
Yeah.
I don't know where the 2 comes from. There's a couple 2s in the year. Joining me is Ben Yoshi. How's it going?
Hello, hello. It's good. Excited for some more bot battles.
Indeed. We've got the winners games tonight. I think one from each group. So should be pretty good. Should be powerful.
Wait. Are these
Is
the
that what it is?
I think it's
Yeah.
the losers
Is it the losers?
because
Yeah,
Group
you're right.
A.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
going
Krillin,
by what was
Kanana.
scrolling on the bottom, but I think that's wrong. Because it's showing there Sharkbot versus Dovakin and stuff, but I think that's next week, right? So it's okay,
Yeah.
so it's a losers one. Yeah, that's right. So
Losers
yeah,
are even almost more fun. All right, we're
exactly.
still gonna
Well,
have a
I
good time.
think it is. I think so because we're gonna get to see more of some of the bots that we only seen once so far, and we'll get some maybe wackier stuff out of it.
Yeah, messy
Yeah.
games. I'm
Yeah,
expecting.
exactly. That's what I'm hoping for at least. Some of them may be better, like Kanana being our first matchup for tonight is pretty strong. But yeah, a lot of these we've only seen really once. And there's 2 veterans, I think, in the lower part, or 3, I guess. Phantombot's also been here before. But yeah, I think it should be good. Yeah, can we take a look, I guess, at the brackets for tonight? Yeah, that may have helped. So yeah, here's the tournament format. So basically, we're a GSL style, or the most common style in SC2 these days, which is starting off with the group stage, where all matches are best of 3 and the top 2 advance. So we've already seen the first couple from each of the groups, and now we're on to the losers, eventually the winners, and then consolation will determine the second person to get through. Then everyone will advance, or not everyone, but the survivors will advance through to the single elimination bracket, where we're going to have quarterfinals, best of 3, semis, best of 5, and finals as best of 7, all as single elimination stuff. Sounds fun.
Very fun.
I
Yeah,
think
and so we have it spread out where it's we're doing like kind of part of the tournament format in each of the groups. So you're kind of jumping around and getting to see all kinds of different bots every week.
Yeah. I think it works. Since we're not dealing with like real people that need to be in a studio or something, it's
calling everyone in every day.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, our matchups for tonight are going to be Krillin versus Kanana, a ZVZ. We've got Phantombot versus Neona, a ZVT. Ender versus Perilous Protoss bot, which obviously a ZV. Everything's a Z today.
Yeah.
ZVP, and then another ZVZ rounding it out. Dovakin versus EPN Roach.
It's looking like the last patch where Zergs were like 6 out of 8, like top 8s in a lot of the major StarCraft 2 events.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know whether it's to say that they're dominant because there's more of them from the ladder, or not dominant because 6 of them are in the losers. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see who survives, but at least 2 Zergs will get out, I guess, and possibly more. But yeah, makes sense. So our first matchup for tonight is here's our bracket, how we got here. So in Group A, TRT and Zozo are going to be in the winners bracket next week, but Krillin losing to TRT, and Kanana actually losing to Zozo in a little bit of, I won't call it an upset, but maybe a little unexpected, going to the third game. So Krillin versus Kanana here for our first matchup.
Yeah, and you can even kind of see it there. You're already kind of talking that Kanana seemed like the slightly more experienced bot anyway, and the fact that they were in a game 3 situation in their winners match, unlike Krillin with a 2-0, kind of tells that tale as well.
Yeah, there was kind of the weird. Those games had like a weird, like worker rushing, strange mechanics to them.
Oh yeah, where they're attacking like the pot.
Yeah. So that kind of changed the state of the games a little bit. So we'll see how that ends up going. In Group B, we had Phantombot losing to Micro Machine and Neona losing to Phobos, which is the newer version, or not version, but same author as Eris. So both of them ending up in the losers. Phantombot has been with us before, but it is Neona's first time in the tournament. And I think it's hard to again, both of these matchups, Phantombot looked pretty good, but Micro Machine's just really, really tough to beat. But it didn't look weak or anything. It's just Micro Machine was pretty good, and Neonka, fairly similar thing that against Phobos, which is a really experienced author that's made another bot, which has won the tournament multiple times. It's just a tough first matchup, so not sure who's going to make it out of here, but.
Yeah, it's going to be nice seeing like you said, the newer bots more often in general, but also seeing them against a possibly more leveled battlefield or a closer opponent, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Group C, we had Benbot triumphing over Ender, which is not me. There's just a lot of things in StarCraft.
You would beat Benbot.
Oh, easily. I have beat Benbot myself. And then Ketrock beating Perilous Protoss bot, who's having a real hard time with the graphics and fitting his name in. But so we're going to get Ender versus Perilous Protoss bot in a matchup between, I want to say the shortest name, but I think Zozo's is the shortest name. So second shortest name versus the longest one.
Truly two ideologies battling it out.
Exactly. Xena taking out EPN Roach to knock it down, and Sharkbot going 2-1 actually against Dovakin, who is also leans towards worker rushiness. I think it was this one that had the pylon problem. The other one was because I was thinking of that, and of course Kanana is a Zerg. So yeah, it was the pylon one. Was this one with Sharkbot? Yeah.
It'd have to have a Protoss in there somewhere.
yeah, exactly. So this will be an interesting one. We always kind of say, like, as a new bot coming in, do you have like worker rush defense? And so we're going to find that out tonight in our last matchup. So the last one could end up being really short if that's not programmed in. Well,
Very interesting. But our first one, Krillin, Kanana, ZVZ, which I feel like can get very weird. I feel like it's just gonna be like a lot of lings.
Yeah.
See who gets teched up first. Because sometimes, I mean, I'm really bad at Zerg. I mostly play Protoss, but when I play Zerg against another Zerg, I always just try to stay on like lings as long as I can. And then the first roaches, I'm just dead. Like as soon as the roaches come out, it feels so rough. So I'm excited to see if we see like any Banelings or just like kind of faster roaches, which I know EPN Roach, one of the roaches pretty fast. I don't remember if Krillin or Kanana really did.
Yeah, I think it depends. Kanana has, a few different builds, and so it really depends. And I don't know on a ZVZ what the plan is, but yeah, I guess we'll find out. And yeah, I think we've seen some Zergs too try and really just skip the roach and go right into like mutas or something, because it's often hard for other bots to deal with something that could just fly around everywhere and heal. So yeah, well, we may see some of that, but we'll find out. Can we get the stats for them up? Possibly. In the meantime, everyone should go to ProBotsAI.com and help support the bots. And they need silicon. That's the problem. They need more silicon, and NVIDIA cards are just getting more and more expensive constantly. So they need to be supported, and you can go there and either help support or help design architecture for graphics cards for the next 5,000 series or something like that. And whatever. Also, while everyone's here, definitely hit the like and subscribe buttons and hit the notification bell and all that stuff. Definitely helps with the visibility of things. Yeah, they're probably vaguely in that direction that you're pointing. And yeah, anything like that definitely helps out. The algorithm is very front loaded. So since we do these live, if you get a lot of good return and good watch time on those, it gets suggested to a lot more people.
Get your boats in the chat, get chat going, anything you can to help out.
Yeah. And anyway, I don't know if we've got the stats for these, but Kanana has been, okay, maybe we do. Okay, here we are. Yeah, so Krillin here with an ELO of 1472, which is not the same year that Columbus sailed the ocean blue, but it always makes you think of that. And
anything ending with 2.
Yeah, exactly. I think the 14 part's correct. Is that right? Or was it 6? I don't know, whatever it was. The win rate, pretty 50-50-ish win rate, but it's always telling the ladder split into a couple brackets. So a good like 50-50 win rate in the upper bracket is actually pretty good. And then no crash issues apparently here, but also no custom photo. We need a custom.
That brings them down for me.
That's it.
I really like some of the custom photos of the last ones. The random player who had like a Zergling and a pilot. They just had everything in the picture.
You gotta have that.
That's so nice.
Yeah, exactly. We got Kanana here. Nice custom photo. See, it doesn't have to be that complicated. It's just simple, to the point. It conveys a good message that it is a poison chip that has a bite taken out of it, which definitely voids the manufacturer warranty.
Some don't tread on me vibes or something.
Yeah, it's weirdly, yes. I think if I didn't know, if I didn't know that the author wasn't American, I'd be concerned. Elo of 1974, which probably also has some sort of historical significance, and a win rate of it's so close to nice. And then no crash rate. So Kanana, again, one of the ones that, it's almost surprising that he got knocked down to the lower half, but I kind of expect him to pull this one out. But we'll see. We can always be surprised with some weird stuff, especially out of new bots. May pull out a new thing that nobody's really seen before or is not ready for. A lot of these guys, of course, they play a lot on the ladder, but when they submit a version to us, it doesn't necessarily have to be the exact same thing. So they may have a sneaky build or a snipe in there that they don't use on the ladder that they can pull out here.
And it really only takes one weird interaction to win a game. So sometimes that's all it takes for. I remember there was some bot that was like trying to repair a bunker, but it was just outside of a planetary fortress range.
Yeah.
And that it was like the entire series, that little instance came up so often, and it can just really mess you up. But we'll see how it goes. I think we're ready to get into the game.
Yeah.
Krillin versus Kanana.
Krillin. Kanana.
All right, Krillin with no hatch and 4 lings already on the way.
Yep. Being aggressive already. 4 lings, queen. He's taking gas. Yeah, he's taking gas is the difference. So he's going to start speed quickly. He's got enough gas for it. Yeah, their speed starts now. So will be a commitment to a speedling push on this. But Kanana with the extra hatch, still early enough, like pool and everything, and we'll have queens out. We'll see how he responds to the initial contact with these lings.
Yeah, I feel like human players have a really rough time holding, or like it's just like very annoying to try to hold your natural. Yeah. Because if you lose your natural, then like Krillin's done what he needs to do basically, and they seem like they have a lead. And so, I'm interested to see how the control is going to look and where Krillin wants to really put the pressure. If it's going to be on the initial queen or just at that natural.
Yeah. This is always a big issue for this. Yeah. It's the whole thing is you have to have like 6 of them come in and hit, and this one ling just running by, which will get cleaned up now, delays the whole thing. It maybe makes another wave a little stronger, but that's not what you want. You kind of want 6 to come in and maybe even like snipe a queen or kill some drones,
especially with that roach warren on the way. So the time bot for Kanana is going to pay huge dividends if they can just get out a few roaches. That'll pretty much put an end to this very easily.
Yeah, and we've seen this before from Krillin, the macro hatch in the main itself. So like really, really committing to this being all in, not even putting it in a natural. But there's already enough here. Kananano's pretty good at like knowing that there's danger and responding to it. Yeah,
the actual like deciding when to build workers or arm units, which is hard to do at any level. It looks really good here because even before the roaches came out, it looks like the lings are actually just going to win this one. And now with double queen production on the hatches, it's only going to get better for Kanana.
Yeah, this does look look shut down, and a lot of it does spiral. Like you can see how deeply red and orange a lot of these are. So had that first attack come in a little better, then it can end up spiraling very quickly in the other direction. But he had just enough to hold it all cleanly, and now that roaches are out, there's really no hope, because you can see even there he eventually lost the Ling versus Ling fight, but
Yeah.
it's a little too late.
Yeah, and with that like kind of early momentum, if you can get that first queen that comes out,
yeah,
then they are losing like 2 or 3 injects at this point. They're losing that constant DPS that's kind of more guarded than a Ling. So yeah, that initial hit, especially for a 1-base all-in, is the most important. First 2 minutes of the game is crucial to get that damage in.
Yeah, for sure. And he's also now got the burrow. Kanana's micro is also really on point there. He was keeping injured Lings alive. He's microing back these roaches, but in a very appropriate way. They're not wasting shots or anything. They're just microing back, shooting in a pretty structured way.
The only thing I didn't like, if I'm going to be picky, is when the 2 Lings were chasing the 2 roaches. The roaches did like get both Lings down to 1 shot left before killing either of them. Which obviously isn't a big deal in that specific fight, but if you extrapolate that to a big roach fight or something, leaving just 1 HP on something is such a detriment to waste all those shots and not take out that DPS.
Yeah, I wonder if they've got like some of the bots have like anti-overkill sort of things that they won't like team up on something if it will die. But if that's calibrated a little wrong, you can like spread it when you shouldn't have.
Yeah. It's like if you have 1 roach less than you need, you'll just injure everything and then go back through and kill it, and then it's like, well, now you just wasted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe something like that. But either way, I mean, he's obviously stable with a pretty good roach army here now. Krillin is still going to continue to flood these in, but he's not going to advance from this.
Yeah, and the more important micro here is obviously the burrowing and making sure none of these roaches die. It's okay to kind of do the slower kill when you keep all of your roaches alive. Yeah,
no threat. And it's kind of messing with some of the Lings too, to have the roaches pop up behind them.
Yeah,
and they're kind of doing the slow push out here.
And we've already got a third coming out for Kanana. Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, 100 Lings dead, but no roaches.
And the 1 Overlord. So I guess Kanana does scout with their Overlord, which I noticed, Krillin does not send any Overlords out. I wonder how usual it is to scout or not scout as a Zerg bot.
I think it's usually you do, but I guess
if you're all inning,
if you're all inning, maybe it doesn't matter. It's not like you care, you're committed. But usually I think they do, and they can be pretty good at trying to keep them alive too. Like you can pay it, not like it has to pay attention. It just responds well, and you can go exactly to the points that you need at the times that you need, and things like that. And of course, more information really helps AI.
Yeah. Especially if you're going to try to play a more kind of defensive, macro-oriented style, which it seems like Kanana kind of that's where they want to take the game to. Is multiple bases, at least 1 tech up of like getting into roaches and upgrades and all that, and burrow, of course. Oh, geez.
Yeah, something's happening. It's the changelings. So he's
attack moving on them, but not attack clicking them. So there's I think that's what's happening, because it looks like they're following them with malicious intent. But if you don't actually select the unit, the game says that it's your ally, so you can't just attack move into it. So that's really messing with, I think, almost every drone.
Changing, it's following the overseers now, and I don't know whether that's a weird one, because somehow maybe it's treating the overseer different than it was treating overlords. But now it's going after. I don't know. I'm curious to know what is going on here, because it obviously wasn't doing that with just overlords before. But it seems to not like overseers.
And you can see the income. This is every drone that Krillin has. They're mining 0.
They're just going to chill. I mean, irrelevant at this point anyway. But it's weird.
It was going to be less than, Kanana, but I didn't think it was going to be infinitely less.
Yeah, Kanana is just chilling.
Yeah, take a 4th.
On the other side. Yeah. So again, may wait until we're at max supply or something, but we can just speed this up. But yeah, it's kind of taking the map. Army hasn't particularly teched up from this, but I think once it looked like it was safe, basically expanded the economy, and now we'll just do like late game stuff. But yeah, certainly Kanana knows that it's safe because it could see basically everything.
Yeah. Yeah, the tech is still just on Lings for Krillin, and that massive ball of roaches, 49 roaches, are just not going to go down to anything that Krillin's going to be able to produce. And here they are at the front door.
Yeah,
taking everything out.
Yeah. That's kind of the timing of like when you've maxed out on roaches and you send them to like basically be killed, but there's nothing there. So yeah, that's all it is. So a like 20-minute long roach game, pretty much. Roach versus Lings.
A little rough from Krillin, but I wonder if he would have built, if he didn't have the macro hatch built in and he actually took the natural.
Yeah,
how that could have looked, because I feel like even though Kanana obviously defended it really well, the counter push was not even close to the beginning of the game. You know, it was a 15-minute. Kanana kind of did their thing, so Krillin was left to do their, expand and do whatever they wanted at home. They ended up chasing overseers
just
for
chasing things. Yeah, that's a weird
the
one.
entire time.
Like I'm surprised that hasn't come up to the extent that they fixed it. But
I guess it is kind of like if you're going to be playing one base with the macro hatch in that one base, Ling only. If they're on overseers, you've kind of already lost. You know, if you haven't killed them by the time that they're in layer tech, it's not looking good if you're a one base all in Zerg.
Yeah, you're not gonna do it. Yeah, exactly. So maybe they didn't bother. But although it would be funny, even if they weren't on your side of the map, but they got up to lair while you were killing them, and then your army started chasing them.
They stopped fighting the hatch and go chase the overseer on the other side.
Yeah, that'd be strange, but but I think either way, predictable. I think for what we expected, that Kanana is probably going to be okay, but we'll see. Again, maps can make a little bit of a difference, or just the order of things. Mm-hmm. A bunch of Lings getting diverted to follow one Ling could make a difference in how things snowball a bit. And if you lose a queen, that can make a difference. So different situation. We'll see how it plays out this time. Assuming Krillin does the same thing, it may change its build order, but something tells me it won't. But let's see what happens.
We'll check it out.
Krillin. Kanana.
All right, Ling's already coming out for Krillin. Oh, this is what I was kind of hoping for.
Yeah,
it was so close.
If they actually got it, yeah. Also, at least they're all grouped, because last time the first two got by.
Yeah.
So now it'll be all grouped at least.
That Roach Warren is so fast, though.
Yeah, that's quicker. And this Ling could still distract the hell out of them.
Just when you think it's good. Well, now that they have enough, they can actually take out the Lings as they see them.
Yeah.
Krillin's still on such a timer because of that Roach Warren, but much better looking than the last game.
Okay, yeah. With drones in the fight here now, on the ramp here, certainly I think Kanana will hold this, but will he lose anything to it? Drones being pulled back pretty well.
That was
pretty clean.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, pretty clean.
And now that the queen's out, and I expect 2 more queens to be on the way, I feel like the wind has been taken out of the sails of Krillin, and now Kanana is probably just going to get that roach ball again. Getting burrow before any roaches even.
Yeah. That's the priority. That's the thing that makes him so good anyway. So yeah, well, I like the control. Like everything is just controlled well. He brings the drones down, but they're pulled back the moment they're even like really a little hurt.
Yeah, I was
And
almost worried that it would be almost too much lost mining
yeah,
time, but
yeah,
they did a very good job at keeping the stream very active between going in and going out and going back to mining once the threat was kind of dissolved a little bit.
he keeps pulling the lings back up into the main though, so they're taking a little time to get down. He will actually lose a queen there, but I mean, it's fine.
Yeah,
But it's just that he kept retreating those and kind of hung it out to dry.
yeah, it is interesting where the units like to sit, because I would imagine that, like, you know, seeing at the natural, maybe it's this. Oh no, that's on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the natural would just make a lot more sense.
Yeah,
but I don't know really how. Yeah, the
even
logic
if he
works.
kept them at the bottom of the ramp or like somewhere like defensive, but whatever. But pulling them up to the main kind of doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, when you have your natural already taken.
Yeah.
You know, if this is a one base Zerg, it makes total sense. But yeah, for the kind of macro style that Kanana does, it is interesting that that's the resting place of the army. And Krillin's just gonna slow feed lings. Yep.
Yeah.
No pooling, nothing like that. Just a constant stream of maybe like 4 to 10 lings at a time.
Yeah, and Kanana not even like reacting very appropriate to this in terms of what it's building. Still making drones, still adding queens, adding in some units, but not like panicking and making 6 roaches at once. It's like 2 at a time, a couple drones, a couple, yeah. Like it's very proportionate to what the actual threat is.
Playing right down the middle of not triple expanding, so maybe the next 12 lings actually get damaged, but also not only building roaches, they're teching up, getting some more drones, and this looks like another fairly easy Kanana game. Though it did look better for Krillin at least. This attacked, and it was more luck than change of anything, but it does look a lot nicer when one ling doesn't pull back the lings 4 through 10 back to the home base.
Yeah. So we got the even more macro hatches added on here in the main. And yeah, you do. I'd be curious if he didn't do this and did, like you said, actually put these in expansions. Because I don't know. It's easier, I guess. The argument is probably one queen can then service all of these. But as you're not doing creep tumors or anything. So it's easier than that, but it just cuts off any option to go later.
Yeah, it would just be so nice to be able to have kind of a lever of like, all right, we're one basing, and then at some point, stimuli says, all right, that's actually not what we want. Let's expand at home. Let's get some drones. The first roach would be a great, or a roach warren or something.
Yeah,
would be a great sign of like, okay, lings probably aren't going to work. Let's try something different. Go to plan B.
Yeah, and you just to get the sense there's certainly no plan B.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. Yeah.
We could try plan A harder,
Yeah.
And even getting some the tunneling claws, overseers, so Krillin's about okay, I was about to say.
We're in this mode. This is plan B, I guess. To take out the air.
It's got to just be attack moving on these units.
I think that's it. It's weird that the drones do it, but I think the strangest part to me is that the Overlord does not trigger it. So there's something about the Overseer.
Yeah, that, or something actively put in to not do it to Overlord. Like some condition.
Yeah. And now once it's free, it goes back to this. I think we've seen this before too. That it got attacked. Was it this bot that did this? Like, was attacked free, go to the closest mining patch, and that's it.
I don't remember seeing this one, but that is very goofy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's EPN Roach as well.
Oh, okay.
We'll do that.
Yeah, fine.
Very unfortunate.
Fun. Yeah, happens. But it's chilling. And now it's kind of clicking the Overlord, but it wasn't doing that before. So I don't know. And Kanana now maxed out. We'll go across and basically do the same thing and clean up these lost drones.
Yeah, the Roaches will get it done. Krillin, I could see it working against some bots, but it's just so hard when you're gonna assume that your opponent has the best micro ever, because bots just are gonna at least like pull back micro and the very basic micro. They're just gonna be so good, and so it's really hard to make these like. It's the same for the worker pools. You know, it's just like if your opponent's perfect, they just have the defender's advantage, and it's just so hard to like break them so quickly where you're not. It's not a tech switch or some sort of mind game. It's like the most basic unit fighting you.
Yeah.
And the defender should just I feel like almost always win in that scenario.
Yeah, generally, and it's something everyone should be able to anticipate is a thing that can happen, that you'll be early pooled and things will come. And that should be a predictable enough thing that most people with any level of experience have faced it at least at some point. But speaking to the fact that he was even able to qualify for the tournament, it must be beating consistently 60 bots.
Yeah, nobody's done it like I've done it, but
yeah. And you can make little tweaks to like how you're doing the micro, how you're doing like the timing of it, whatever. Obviously this like 3 hatcheries in the same base sort of thing, maybe it's just more aggressive in that and it works, but who knows. So our next matchup, we got Phantombot here with a very stylish picture.
I like it.
It's the Phantom of the Opera but on a quilt.
That's
the way that I interpret that. I don't know if that's
I see it almost as like fractals, like just like time and space bending. But
it's a bit more. That's probably more accurate.
I kind of like it just being a blanket.
Just a quilt, and everyone in that generation has added a patch to the quilt, and it's ended up being the Phantom in the Opera. But Phantombot, has been in the tournament a few times, and the opponent, which is the first appearance, is our Terran player Neona, who has a pretty good elo rate for especially a first timer at 1700. Crash rate shows a little higher than everyone else, but I don't know if that's accurate, or it can often be that that's your rate from early in the ladder and then you fixed it and it's not a problem anymore. So
it's like the stats of 2 StarCraft players where like they've been playing for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's like all the times they were winning was like 10 years ago. Like the other guy is way better, but the stats do not show that correctly.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely true. So we'll see. In this one, I think we are ready to jump into it right now. In 10 seconds, I mean.
In 8 seconds.
8 seconds, is that what he said? That's very precise.
No. But so Neona looking a little bit better MMR wise. Phantombot, are they a big rusher? Because I feel like
not
Terran's
really
just good at holding.
Yeah, I think Phantombot was more of a holder. Like I remember Micro Machine attacking and Phantombot holding out like reasonably well for a while, but ultimately falling. And so I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect out of this one. And there's often we've seen Phantombot before, but people make a lot of changes between seasons, so never know. But I think we are ready now, so let's hop in.
Phantombot. Neona.
So it does say in Phantombot's profile that it can be vulnerable to cheeses, and that's what we are going to get out of Neona here with the proxy barracks. And Phantombot tends to be pretty reactive to things, so doesn't tend to do cheese of its own, but will hopefully make like lings and roaches and stuff in response. But it's a matter of, does this get scouted? Does it get seen? And I actually see an Overlord seeing it right now.
Oh. What weird pathing for that
is
Overlord,
weird.
by the way.
I guess it's the map is kind of weird. Like instead of going diagonally across, it just went horizontally, which is
and the
weird.
other one is now in the bottom right corner. I think it was kind of going along the right side of the map.
Yeah.
I think it's there it is. I was like, I saw it in the mini map. So I think they both just went up the sides of the map, which is such a weird way to scout, but it works out really well this time.
Yeah, works for what he's trying to do. We got the single Marine coming here now, finding some drones, but we've got speed on the way, but it'll be a little while. But with a couple of lings already out, there's no bunker or anything to protect these guys. Not yet, anyway. But yeah, a couple
a ballsy third expansion.
Yeah.
While enemy units are moving over.
Yeah, that's probably not going to get down. But yeah, a good little group of Marines here. With a couple SUVs.
A really good distraction with that first ling, just pulling everything away. Now the Marines are finally finding the natural, but for a couple seconds I thought they were just going to chase that ling for a couple minutes.
Yeah, and this is going to spiral into something pretty big pretty quick here, especially if he's not really committing with units, and he's pulling back a lot.
The
two SCVs in front here I think are helping a lot because they don't want to jump on anything, and like I don't know what they're doing. Like they're trying to get away from this, but there's nowhere to retreat.
The range is just so rough to watch when like we've been talking about all last week of the being able to understand when you can jump on something and not just try to go in and out of their attack range, because lings going in and out of Marines attack range, you're never gonna get a hit.
That's not great. He's got a lot of lings, and there were two quick. Like I think he could have won if he just attacked before these two forces joined up. At least when it was just the 7 there at the top, he could have swarmed that and won.
Well, especially because like when we saw the really low number of Marines versus Zerglings, the Marines weren't microing the greatest. They were getting their shots in, but they weren't doing like they weren't running as far away as they could before shooting again. They were really getting those shots in fast, which allowed the lings to really jump on top of them and actually get some hits in.
Yeah.
So I feel like if these lings did commit, Neona does not micro in a way where the lings wouldn't have a chance.
Yeah.
They only don't have a chance because of Phantombot's micro and over microing the in and out of that attack range.
Yeah, and here's it's that assessment I think often that bots are doing of like, can I win this fight? And can you win this fight right now? No. However, are you in your own home base? And if you're in your home base, you can't win, you can't retreat. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So
especially off of creep. Right now Neonka's bullying Phantombot off of creep, which is just making the fight worse whenever it inevitably does happen, or they all just get wiped out. Mm-hmm. And where's the last building?
I think it's
the spawning pool right above it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is their main base, right? Like there's no hidden expansion.
Nothing else, no other tricks. It's been revealed now. They've got that rally to the main point syndrome. But often what will happen here is as the Marines accumulate, there'll be so many that they leave, and
there we go.
It. Yeah.
Eventually the lack of creep will just kill that spawning pool.
Yeah.
But
they could do nothing and they'll be fine.
Pushes into it eventually.
Yeah. Indeed. So yeah, I think that may come down to too much tentative micro because he saw it. I'd say that he built appropriate things at an appropriate time, such that you could win that game, but chose not to.
Yeah, the only other big thing that I did not like that I saw was the even after getting a insanely lucky very early scout on all 3 of those racks, the fact that Phantombot immediately tried to take a third means there's something that the scouting info and the actions don't quite line up. And so I'm not too hopeful that Phantombot will have a really strong cheese defense. It looks like it's going to try to get into that 3 base macro style regardless, but maybe Neonka, doesn't go as hard in the cheese this time.
Yeah, possible. Or possible just that, again, it can tip on the edge of a sword on like if your first few lings win and then you always assess that the fight is good for you, then they won't freak out and run away. I think that's a big part of it too. If everything's in the right position to start with, then you could just win when you would have lost. Because I think it's going to come down to that. Is if it's not winning, it's not going to. There's no such thing as a comeback for Phantombot.
Yeah, it snowballs one way or the other.
Yeah.
Which actually means that maybe that one Ling that went up to the like fourth-ish or like linear third that kind of pulled away the Marines. Yeah. Maybe that's actually the worst thing that could happen to you because that allows the Marines to pull. It's not quite pulling them far away enough that they split the forces. It actually helped them get the forces all together. So maybe if it's a more streamlined, or just like a running them in a line, one Marine at a time, maybe those Lings do just jump on them, kill them, and stay winning.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll find out right now, and I expect a short game either way.
Phantombot. Neona.
Proxy's already in place here, and we'll see if this is likely to be scouted in this location, but maybe it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, and this one's an even weirder location for an Overlord to see it first. Now that really all your attention should be on the top right side of the map. But yeah, last game it didn't seem like that was the biggest change of game plan after Phantombot scouted anyway. Was last game a 4 racks too, or was it just 3?
Yeah, it was a 4 racks as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's these will accumulate pretty quick. I'm not sure whether because he's got the SCVs here. I usually expect like a bunker or something to go with this because it's almost always worth it to at least try and do it, because at the very worst case, someone ends up like trying to attack the bunker and you can cancel it and you're fine. But it's almost always worth it to throw that in. But yeah, he's not aware of this at all yet, and but there's an Overlord kind of there.
The Marines are pooling this time more than they did last time. Last time it was the one Marine went in immediately, and then it was kind of the 2 SCVs and all the other Marines stacking up. Now it's already going to be like 6 Marines before he moves in.
I think it was because of the Overlord before that one Marine attacked the Overlord and then
triggered the attack.
Yeah,
got you.
Yeah. So
this looks way harder to deal with. Even with those initial Lings, you don't even have the chance to kill one Marine and have a kind of weaker fight later. Yeah. It's already going to snowball. Oh.
Yeah, you've got 2 Lings already behind them too, and they were tempted to jump in even though the Queen was trapped. And yeah, so I think this might be a lot quicker because we're going to quickly get up. Like there's already 10 Marines here, and those 2 Lings aren't coming anywhere near.
Yeah. Yeah, it really makes it so much stronger for them not to just walk in a line straight into the base as soon as they're rallied out. And now they're already at basically critical mass.
Yeah, can definitely see how this sort of cheese has worked well on the ladder. It's just like strong enough that you really have to know it's coming and do the right thing appropriately. If you're a little late, then it's gonna spiral very quickly against you.
Yeah, I feel like of all the races, Terran's base unit cheese has got to be the strongest against bots.
Yeah,
Lings just seem like they would get microed against so hard. Worker Rush, same thing, and then Protoss. If you can get to Stalkers, that's nice, but Zealots have the same problem. The range really, really makes a difference.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only literal tier 1 first unit that has range, and that's just a giant difference in the entire game. He's mowing down the last of the drones. The Lings still scared to fight or help anyone.
This scared to fight the 1 SCV, taking on like 9 Lings.
Clean out with the inject. Hatchery down. How long will it take him to find a pool? This time he did get the other hatchery down, so he did the same thing.
Oh, he's at the third.
Yeah, trying to go for that third, but he. Are we going to do the same thing of wait until the creep expires?
That SCV.
There's a tumor. No, that's just funny.
They won't
even fight him.
He's just going to take out. He's going to have like 12 kills by the end of the game.
They won't even fight him. Like how do you not, like, there's being a coward and then there's whatever this is.
It's like, I promise you can fight him. Yeah, he's just gonna get all the kills.
Clean them up. The other Marines still haven't moved. The creep has expired from the main base, but there's still a tumor there. And that's weird because it can't see that. So is it just going to sit here? It's also not really adding anymore because Neonka, this is an interesting side thing to this. So it did end up, that was just it killing itself.
Yeah,
so
that just died to lack of creep.
This may be an interesting one. So not only is he not adding more units, but he's not doing it because he's only built supply depots up to a certain amount, and he's not adding any more. So
if Phantombot had 50 minerals, I would say there's like a, ounce of chance.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there's.
Yeah, he does.
It's just this hatch.
So is this just going to run to the end? And him not do anything?
Yeah, do they get a draw if nothing's produced?
Yeah.
I
know I forget what we have exactly. There's certain knockout rules. Is he killing his own stuff? Oh, what he's doing. Okay, now he's going to go. I don't know what he...
nice.
Oh, I know what he was doing. That's stupid. There was a larva there. Yeah.
Okay.
So, there's a larva there that you can't really see, but that's what the health bar was. So it was not moving until it killed the larva, but it wasn't shooting it. The SCV was killing it. Awesome.
Interesting.
Okay, there you go. I think there is some knockout rule that we're like, if a bot hasn't done anything in an X amount of time, then it's out. So even though... Although in that case, they kind of weren't doing anything, but I guess Neonka was still attacking with the SCV, so that was still a command. But if you haven't issued commands at all, then you're out after a certain amount of time. Whatever. But either way, so yeah, here's where we are. So Kanana advancing over Krillin. We'll go into the consolation match in 2 weeks, I guess. And then in our group B is going to be Neonka advancing over Phantombot into the consolation again in a couple weeks, playing the loser of the winners. And we're going to jump to a 5-minute break. Everyone hit that like and subscribe button, and it's a good time to check out ProBotsAI.com, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. And we are back here. We are back with Group C and D of the losers bracket. Some people give that a softer name. I don't.
I know. I hate elimination bracket, dude. It drives me nuts. I do a lot of different games in esports production, and Melee is my other favorite game. And they always say losers, and I love that.
Yeah.
All of these the developer made game or developer sponsored broadcasts, they always do elimination or lower bracket.
Something. Yeah, lower bracket.
Dude, they're losers. You can win. You can still come out, but
exactly.
That's why you're here.
The only place where I think it might be okay to call it lower bracket is Gommel, because then you can say to anyone lower, get on my level.
That
that makes some sense. But yeah, I always used to and they eliminated it way back, but at the start of StarCraft tournaments and stuff, you would even do a loser's interview. And you do in most sports, you interview the winner and you interview the loser in post-game stuff, and they cut out they don't talk to the loser, they just leave them alone. But no, come on, if you lose a tennis match, there's microphones in your face. What's wrong with you? That stuff, you got to deal with it.
That hurts. That one, I like calling them losers. I don't know if I need to talk to them. You can go sulk,
Yeah, the sulking's fine. I don't know. If people are good sports, it works. But yeah, it can be tough with some people. So here we've got the matchups. Our first player will be Ender, who is a Zerg player with the 1576 ELO and a 39% win rate. Again, sometimes misleading given that everything's bracketed and so on. But this is one of the newer ones we haven't really seen much out of yet. So I'm curious what we're going to get here.
Nice. And their opponent, Perilous
Protoss bot will hit you with its flailing arms and hooks.
I do love that image.
It's a good one. So yeah, very very dangerous Protoss. Elo of 1593 and a similar win rate. Yeah, this one I think it looked okay, and it looked like it was doesn't have the typical landmarks of like a new bot. It looked like it was playing for like late game strategies and stuff, at least from the first week that we saw of it. So curious to see what this is going to do when it's given a little bit more time to develop. But it apparently does have access to all abilities and all units, which is rare in a lot of the newer bots.
Is it the one that had the disruptors that looked like they were attack moving for a while? Okay,
yeah. I think it was that, and same with it had the High Templar, and they were like feedback
attacking like an SCV or something.
Yeah. And they were like feedbacking though. I don't think we saw a storm, but we at least saw them being used.
And eventually we did, I think, see maybe some disruptor shots on like a planetary or something
like that. Yeah,
large mass hit.
Yeah, they were using the abilities right, but then they were still moving in.
The in between was weird.
Yeah. So let's jump into this now. My money maybe is on the Perilous Protoss bot, but let's see. It's hard to go against my namesake.
Ender. Perilous Protoss bot.
All right, and yeah, just looking at the notes for both these bots just a little bit, it seems like we're probably going to get a later game than we have these first two sets. Yeah, Ender bot's main strength is ability to quickly adapt and respond to changing situations. Its weakness is the early game aggression. So as long as you don't get early game aggression, I think it'll be pretty healthy. And Perilous Protoss bot is kind of the same. Special trait is ability to adapt and improve over time, covering all units and abilities. But it still requires opponent data to fully optimize its strategy. So I assume this is the first time these two guys are fighting. So we'll see what kind of strategies come out between the two.
Yeah, and I think you're right that neither of them is going to be particularly aggressive early on. It looks like Ender's already going up for 3 bases.
Double expand. Love that. Especially when the Protoss builds a Zealot first, because that's terrible.
Yeah, and he did go Scout before doing that, so maybe it is information based. There is a forward pylon coming down, but I don't know if I expect it to be anything too strong. Like certainly nothing all in, I don't think.
Yeah, it looks like it could just be blocking that third spot because the way Ender expanded is very curious. It does look almost more like a ninja base than an actual third because it's not a triangle third and it's not a linear third. It's like definitely a 4th or 5th base position.
Yeah, Zealot coming forward to walk by the pylon. Just stand there. Just chill. Wait for reinforcements.
Make sure that third doesn't get taken, but little does he know it's taken a little bit to the right. Because I think I don't think Perilous Protoss bot has actually seen that expansion from Ender.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's in such a weird spot. Yeah,
some may think that that's totally normal, but either way, neither of them particularly teching up to anything too aggressive.
Pretty quick +1 for melee on the Zerg side. Another Zealot was made, which just breaks my little heart. Just so much minerals in units that are not going to be doing too much. Especially these Zealots. Maybe throw them into natural and you're proving me wrong, but especially just guarding the pylon. They're not going to be giving big returns on that investment.
He's adding on the Ling speed here now too. And I noticed that the third base hasn't really been like populated with drones or anything. So it would be interesting if this is just a macro hatch, like 2 of them there, and he's now switching to more heavy Ling production. So with the +1 and the speed, yeah, 14 Lings now underway. This may be kind of a macro hatch Ling flood sort of situation.
And I like the macro hatch there because if it does go south, and it's programmed, then you can always switch back into drones.
Yeah.
But yeah, +1 and link speed is going to be a pretty big power boost once both those come online.
The Zealots here turning out to be pretty good, at least as an early detection system. They took out a number of Lings that kind of like staggered in alone. Finally gets cleaned up, but it certainly gives them some early warning as to
we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
Yes, Protoss kind of knows what's going on, and these units aren't too bad, but they really need to make sure that they don't get caught out with all these individual, really small groups of units. 2 units is just not going to be enough to deal with all these Lings, especially now that they have speed and +1. You really want to be fighting kind of in a wall or in some minerals and with a decent number of units with you. Sentries, if the force fields are on point, sentries could be huge.
That is true. Now, with that said, I've never seen a bot have its force fields on point.
That seems like one of the hardest abilities of micro.
Yeah,
because there's nothing to even
difficult.
It's not like you click on a unit, there's nothing to actually use it on top of.
Yeah, it requires understanding the hallucination there actually may be helpful.
Okay, Guardian Shield does not do anything for melee, I don't believe. So that's...
But it's on.
It's an ability. They are using the abilities for sure.
Yeah. So Ling Flood in here actually doing pretty well. They're not fighting near the shield batteries that they built, so that is going to hurt things. Warping in another sentry, unfortunately, is not what you want right now.
Yeah, I feel like if the sentries don't have force fields, I mean, a hallucinated Archon is cute and does probably help soak up a decent amount, but that just seems like the most inefficient use of gas and gateway production. Stalkers would be great, Adepts would be great. The one force field locks the Stalker out.
Yeah. does not prevent the Lings from coming back in. It's just big enough for the Stalker.
It's literally like 1/2 unit length of space.
But he cleaned it. So he lost his base, which is a huge setback given that Ender's got 4 now.
And it's a decent idea that this positioning of the force field shows promise, I guess I want to say. That doing it on top of a ramp and in that tight space is a smart way to use it if it was a little bit finagled a little differently.
It's one of those cases where he understood the assignment, he was just a bad writer.
He can't convey his ideas, but man, he's got some ideas in there.
It was the right idea. But it's going to be tough to come back at this point. If Ender sits back and really gives a lot of time, then maybe. But we're down to 25 workers. Everything at the natural pretty much got killed. The army supply quite low. And he's definitely got a lot of rebuilding to do. There's also kind of these random creepers spreading across pretty well. He's kind of made like a channel for creep instead of it spreading everywhere like a lot of the Zerg do. It looks like he's kind of got a highway. And Ling's flooding in again now, but are they going to have more trouble getting into the natural?
There's so many bases from Ender that even with the time, it seems like if they go now, then the game ends in Ender's favor, and if it lasts another 10 minutes, it also ends in Ender's favor. It feels very good for him.
The burrow here, definitely annoying. Perilous is going to have to get like an observer or something out.
Yeah, the Adepts are dealing with the Lings pretty well, though. And it was another force field that didn't look that bad. So I would love to see if you can use force fields correctly. I do love sentries, especially against Zerg. So it'll be interesting to see if these force fields, maybe next game, do hit correctly and can kind of section off some of these units. But this burrow he's just not gonna be able to finish any units.
They just stay alive the entire time and then they heal back. But he's got a good little force here. It's nowhere, if Ender's army grouped up and just went, it's nowhere near strong enough to stop him. But he's not, so it's fine for at least the time being. Perilous
observers.
I don't know whether he I don't know if there's triggers for these comments. But
Yeah, it actually displays information or anything.
He just quotes movies. And yeah.
Some Sharkbot-esque antics of being a little chatterbox in chat.
Yeah, it's something. Swarm host coming on Ender's side. That is gonna mess with some people.
Yeah, Swarm hosts seem like maybe the most annoying. You know, BCs are pretty up there, mutas are pretty up there for just messing with AI ability to like fight. Swarm hosts seem really annoying, almost like the Raven auto turrets, where it just like having a timed out unit just really messes with the math and it changes how you have to think about interactions. And I don't think that the bots are going to be ready for thinking on that high level.
Yeah, they're not good at the concept of this thing comes from this thing. And so if I see this thing, I need to jump forward and stop whatever.
Or like this thing's going to die in 5 seconds. So like, I don't need to be fighting it. I can run away and that's actually like better.
Yeah, better.
Unless it's on my like infrastructure.
Yeah. And he won it first, but he's got 7 more on the way. And it's gonna get pretty. That's gonna get overwhelming really, really fast. Like a single wave could wipe that army out.
Especially just with the force that PPB has. There's no splash. It's all very like close quarter units. You know, adepts and zealots mostly. But if Ender does use them in kind of 1 or 2 at a time, maybe there's a chance that you know these units are able to clear them fast enough. But with the roaches,
he even died to the conventional army before that even became an issue. So it doesn't matter. And then somehow this roach ending up in the main, probably from just burrowing its way up there. I don't think
surely.
Yeah, he doesn't even have the burrow move, but I think it's just unburrow, walk forward, burrow again. Yeah,
leapfrog by himself. Just and with the unit set recount. Disruptors on the way, which Robo Bay is actually great. If you guys get some Colossus up, that would actually be kind of an answer to these swarm hosts.
Yeah.
Disruptors, I cannot imagine doing a good job in this kind of situation. A Roach hit would be great. But against swarm hosts.
Yeah. I don't know whether to consider this taunting, but I will hit at 10:48. Like 20 seconds ahead of time, and then that's exactly when he came in with the roaches. So yeah, he's just calling his shots now.
And now the storm hosts are actually lining up where it's like 7 to 10 storm hosts sending out their locusts at a time, and this is going to get real overwhelming real quick.
Yeah, he's even got some coming into the main there. This is definitely going to eventually eat away at the frontier, and no way to turn this back or for Perilous to kind of get out of his base.
I think our observer was showing that some dropper lord action was trying to go down, and you can see it now. It was kind of stopped, and there's only 1 Ling in there. Which doesn't seem. Oh, one roach.
A roach. Okay. That's probably how it got behind.
The one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
I don't think we saw that earlier, but that makes sense. It's just a flesher now quoting Monty Python instead. That one seems maybe in context. Say this when you appear to be damaged.
Well, and like when they said there's no place like home, it was like when units were out on the map and like probably wanted to retreat. So yeah, maybe there is some reasoning behind the movie quotes. I did want to point out that this time, so the first attack that Ender came in with, I did not see any, not a bad disruptor hit, overcharge on the shield batteries. So I am happy Perilous Protoss bot did do an overcharge with this fight. So it's not like that ability isn't accounted for, I should say. So they do have access to that, but yeah, at this point, you could have infinite overcharge, and I don't think it would really matter. But there's another one, which it is a phenomenal move. Oh, but the Biles, I don't know how you would... Biles seems scary if you don't know how to dodge those.
Yeah,
I don't know what kind of logic.
I think they give... I think Ketrock was explaining at one point. I think it's like it gives a marker, but then you don't really know the time.
Okay,
like so you just have to program in the time of like if you see this, then 3 seconds later, make sure you're not there or something like that. A lot of projectiles, I think, are kind of like that. But you just have to figure it out.
Oh, geez, yeah, Ender with 213 supply. So I guess doing some extractor tricks or something along the lines of that.
Something. As the
I mean,
map.
they do have the entire map.
Yeah.
And that highway has become a
right
a parking lot of just the entire map.
And only attack, despite like a completely maxed army, only attacking with the locusts. Like just not interested in anything else.
But man, the upgrades, the macro behind this, they just finished the Greater Spire, I believe. They have lurker technology, +3 range, lurker range.
Yeah,
they had a lot of
like
upgrades
it goes
going.
hard. Looks like this one's trying to swing for the fences for sure. I mean, they both kind of are, because both of them, I think, have full capabilities for all units. So it's going to be whether they're totally ready yet. Like, it's the framework for like those deep bots that eventually dominate, but it takes a long time to get to that level. But it looks like Ender is definitely in that stage of becoming very nasty.
Yeah, no, that was like Cyril-esque, like late game preparation. Where like, all right, if my army does get wiped and they also have 7 Stargates that produce carriers, I could go into 20 Corruptors right now and have like upgrades for them ready to go. The fact that lurker upgrades were almost done, it's just wild.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see. I'm trying to think what could have changed there. Like, the early Ling Flood really just dominated that game. And other than that, it's not like Perilous had weak defense or anything really. Like, he had shield batteries, he had the right sort of things, but just not enough of it to deal with how that vicious the attack was, I guess.
The wall, I would say I would love to be a little better. I think it was just 2 pylons.
Yeah.
And what maybe hurt the most was that the pylons were outside the Nexus range. And so all the warp-ins that they were doing on the low ground were slow warp-ins, which is in those early game kind of tussles where like every second matters. That is so unfortunate.
Yeah, he also had those 2 zealots out in like the forward location that I think, again, he thought was blocking a third, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I think that sort of thing maybe led him to the wrong analysis of the situation. And even though he used them to see early Lings, it was too late then for someone that probably thought they were against 2 bases. So
it's one of those things where it's like, not getting the information is kind of bad. Getting the information and it being like giving you the wrong signals is way worse. And that's kind of what happened with that third block.
For sure. So I think we're ready to jump in. Let's see how it goes.
Ender. Perilous Protoss bot.
I think Perilous Protoss bot's image just reminds me of when Plankton puts SpongeBob in a robot suit to like make him Krabby Patties. I think that's all I could think of when I see just like that toy-looking robot.
Yeah, I don't know if you're. I mean, I'm even too young, but do you know what that's from?
I'm gonna guess. What is it? The like Space Mystery 3000.
Similar, Lost in Space.
Okay.
I think that's. I forget the name of it. I think it was just Rory the Robot or something like that. But it's like a 1950s sci-fi TV show. It's the one where they like, Lost in Space. They end up abandoned on a planet somewhere, and it's like a Robinson Crusoe sort of thing, but in space.
Love it. That's so good. I love the good images for our robots out here.
This looks like it may be a better wall, at least at the main. But then if he expands to the natural, we'll see. But I think he could have, if he didn't send out like the zealots across the map before and had them at home and they were helping plug up holes, maybe it works better. As I say that, one of them is going on a fucking walkabout.
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah.
But it looks like the pool is
significantly
later in this one, right? I think the
Yeah.
pool was before the double expand.
Yeah, definitely.
So it doesn't look like PPB is going to go under too much pressure too quickly. And so I like that they're getting their natural up. I would love a pylon down there pretty soon. Their wall feels very Protoss versus Protoss, where you can wall it up if you need, if adepts come in or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, against Zerg, if you're going to go for the natural, you should just always take that bottom ramp.
Yeah, I've always thought this like main wall against Zerg can hurt you because you get it restricts you to single file, not them. Like that's not where you're gonna fight usually. So it's like you're better off walling low. And yeah, you could stick a unit there in case they try and run by, but that's not usually the problem.
It's almost like when you wall off against Terran and then they have Marines hitting your wall and you're like, well, I can't go out and fight them because I have to fight them one zealot at a time.
Yeah. And
it's just terrible. So yeah, the way walling works, depending on which race you're going against, changes pretty significantly as Protoss. And that's why I would think like the early game of Protoss is one of the kind of the harder things to kind of nail out because the first pylon is so restrictive of where you're building stuff. And like it's the first couple pylons like really are important of, whenever I coach like newer players and they put all the pylons in the same spot, it's like, well, that's the only spot you can build now, which is crazy restrictive.
Yeah, and it's often very, very like prescriptive in where you have to put like on this map, on this ramp, the gateway has to go exactly here and the pylon has to go exactly here. You can't really improvise some of those things, like to learn them, I guess you do on a new map, but like you have to memorize those
There's just right answers.
Yeah, or else you end up with this weird broken Jenga that doesn't work. So he's going up to Dark Shrine.
Instantly scouted, almost. Like, I think almost as the DT Shrine came down, that Overlord came in.
Yeah.
And as our wonderful observer was pointing out, we do have spores already started. We know we have one in the natural. Does the third and main also have spores? Because it did seem like those spores were
not
specifically a reaction to getting that scout in. But we only have them in the natural, and we don't have any layer tech coming up.
Yeah, that could be harmful. It would be interesting, too, if a DT can just kind of shut down the Ling flood, although it takes a while.
Slow warping.
Yeah, is warping in a couple. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And a weird location.
Yeah. Like the furthest away.
Yeah, from anywhere useful. Yeah.
That's a lot of Lings.
Yeah, it
is. They do have +1, and this is not a wall. And there are no units?
No. You don't need any of that stuff.
We got DTs, all right?
Yeah, forget that. Yeah, the DTs, I mean, we'll like eventually clean this up, but it takes a while, man.
And I mean, that Zealot with Overcharge is holding on for dear life, but the gateways are going to go down.
Yeah. The main benefit to that Zealot was that it held the Lings in place.
Yeah,
because they wanted to attack it. So now the DTs have to chase all this stuff down, and they can't.
They get a swipe and then they have to run, and they get a swipe and they have to run.
Yeah. Is he going to save one? No. He's got minerals, but no.
Hit them, DTs. What are they doing?
Chilling. They want to do something else. Is the problem? They were not made for this.
Yeah, I'm not a defensive unit guy. All right.
Yeah. This was not their plan. But, it looks like they're just going to get like it's just going to be a matter of they can't kill things fast enough to clean it up. The Zealots coming in once again help because they kind of
Zealots help. Yeah,
they pin in like it's that the Zealot or the Lings attack them. That's all. And then the DTs
can finally catch up.
So he's basically going to go across the map. If he goes across the map right this second with like 8 DTs or whatever he's got. There's still like okay, now we're getting detection.
I was everywhere but the natural.
There's a tiny window there, and you could definitely 4 DTs will kill like a spore in 2 swipes. And trust me, I know that.
I can send you a replay if you don't believe me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but without like blink or anything, there's just no way.
No, you got a beeline for it, and go. Yeah, but unfortunately not.
I would love a bot though that researches Dark Stride and just like knows to blink onto spores when they see them. Then you get some blink stalkers, blink onto overseers. Oh, it would be so gross. But yeah, this one, that did not happen. All the DTs die, and now we're trying to mine off of 4 workers on a base.
Yeah.
And I think only 2 of them are mining.
Yeah, and I think he's coming in for the kill here now. Wings will come for the wall, doing it methodically.
I do like the +1 with the Ling speed.
Yeah.
It would make sense that Ender struggles with those early attacks if his opponent does get aggressive.
Yeah.
But man, if you don't actually need the speedlings until now, they seem just so strong. Once they get +1 and speed, that's just such a strong timing attack. And they will just eat everything. I don't know when the Stargate came down, actually.
Yeah, I don't think anything got made out of it. Yeah, I didn't see it actually come. But
wild follow-up after Dark Shrine to go into Stargate tech. Yeah, the Lings will finish this up eventually.
Yeah, so pretty impressive out of Ender here. Like pretty decisive attack, and it looks like he's got the capability. We saw more in game 1, but the ability to go into like whatever after that, including like Vipers, including Lurkers, including Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, their late game setup looked awesome. We didn't get to see it. We only saw the Roaches, but if those Roaches got cleaned up, the next army was going to be very strong.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's one of those ones again that you get the aggression going, and then I think it often lures people in to think like, well, if I hold this, then I'm okay. No, he's got 7 bases.
Yeah, he took like, your third like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be all right. You don't have to just hold this. So there we go. And now coming up is our last match of the evening. It's going to be Dovakin versus EPN Roach. Dovakin does some either like worker semi-rush, I guess you call it. He did like the 5 drone rush to throw off his opponent, and we'll see how that goes. EPN Roach makes roaches for ESPN or something.
For ESPN?
Yeah, I don't know.
The one in the Dovakin's little description, our notes, he embraces the late game is for coward strategy.
Yes.
So all of the sets tonight have been pretty fast. I don't think we're going to get any longer ones this set.
No, yeah, I don't think so. I think we've had a couple short ones, but this might be the shortest. We'll see. It always comes down to the games are decided often within a couple minutes, and then it takes 8 more minutes.
When it will end, is a different story. Yeah,
that's different. But this one, he's got the ability to just wipe up the mineral line if there is no defense, and we don't really know. I love Dovakin's picture.
Amazing.
It's excellent. Looks very happy. And yeah, Elo 1578. Dovakin's been around for a few seasons for us. And EPN Roach, I like this picture too, even though it's like less of a like person, like it's a good company.
Yeah.
Like it's a good company name for like an Austin Powers movie.
I was about to say,
like,
in some like, what was Mr. Robots was like E Corp or something like that, where it's like, just like so on the nose,
like evil, like
Evil People
I
Network.
love the codist, like I love the coded in 666 and that, like it's just really subtle. It's the type of thing that if you just put that on a real company, then like a bunch of like hardcore Christians would think they figured something out. Like,
and you're like,
I know. It's like when they tell you like, oh, the monster claw looks like demonic. I'm like, yeah, it's called Monster. Like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, we're ready to jump in. Let's hop in now.
EPN Roach. Dovakin.
there's two maps like this one and what's it called, Oceanborn or Ocean whatever.
Oh yeah, because it's like underwater.
Yeah, and I don't know whether that one's like supposed to be dark, but this one isn't. Like last season, this was totally fine, but some bug or something has made it dark for our purposes. Anyway, I think it's still kind of cool.
All right, so the beginning, terrible chase of the drones. It's kind of like what you least want to happen. Yeah. But EPN Roach still does not have a pull up, and they just started to expand. So Dovakin not only is going to have these drones in the Roach's base, but he's going to have Lings coming out pretty soon after. So maybe there's still some hope to get some damage done. Pool just now going down.
Yeah, it's definitely got time. It's really going to come down to, is there a defense here, or are they just going to sit there? Attacking larvae is not going to help.
Well, you can't be going through them.
Yeah, pretty good.
I feel like if Dovakin was mineral walking from the natural to actually run away from the drones, it would work a lot better. Because I think they were just taking the closest mineral patch to mineral walk to, they were actually taking more damage going through all of EPN Roach's drones while trying to do that micro. So it was like taking your most damaged worker and then just throwing him into the pit of all the other workers.
Yeah.
So pretty brutal start. We do have the 6 Lings coming across the map though. And there'll be a short window where EPN Roach does not have any Lings.
Yeah, and I don't know what these drones are like thinking about the whole time.
Just in general.
like Lings come in, okay, this may work, but there's not enough of them to really make up for the fact that you gave him 6 or 8 drones. Yeah, and now with his own out, Roach Warren coming obviously for EPN Roach, and Queen's joining. It seems like he'll lock this down, and Dovakin only has 11 workers.
It's pretty much over already. Yeah, I think the mineral walking just really hurt Dovakin here because of the way that the fight was going, where mineral walking through the drones is just like, it's like the over microing where like you're actually hurting yourself doing this micro.
We've seen it work on, like, the one thing about it is I think if people are using automatic aggro, doing that drops you on the aggro list, so it lets your damage one go through. But if someone has specifically coded in, like, attack it, right? So it's kind of it works against bots that don't defend properly. But if you defend properly, then it's like this unarmed guy is walking through us.
Yeah, let's kill him.
So yeah. Whereas a lot of them, I think the default behavior is the unarmed guy is walking through us. These other 3 are still attacking, so let's switch.
Yeah, it's like the hold command when you're defending a zealot or something like that. Yeah. Makes sense. But now Dovakin still going to send out a few Lings and going to go into Ling speed even. But EPN Roach already has the Roach Warren up, already has the layer coming up, and starting to get into good old Burrow. The classic. Maybe bot's favorite upgrade.
It is a lovely upgrade in many ways.
It's really just like the blink of roaches. Where it's like, man, if I could do this perfectly, this seems really good.
Yeah. Luckily, I feel like the Burrow is easier to do perfect because it's just a binary yes or no.
There's no direction.
Yeah, you don't have to pick where to do it.
Yeah, because the blink would almost need the same logic as that mineral walking, where it's like you want to like find the direction of the aggression and then go the opposite way. Like find a mineral patch, not that way. But burrowing just is easy, and roaches just get the health back pretty quickly.
So fast,
Yeah, so it just really snowballs.
Stalker has to be out of combat for long enough, and
and the pain train is getting slowed down by this trickle of Lings, but eventually it will reach the doorstop of Dovakin.
Yeah, I find that eventually these AI games turn into games of Desert Strike, where it's just like the tug of war through the middle and more
escort the payload type.
Yeah,
Overall,
exactly. Yeah. for Overwatch.
Even got some changelings in there. See if we can mess up the AI again.
Some of them do. So like definitely the case that some of them really screw with it. The worst is I've seen a couple bots they'll have detection with them, and they'll know that there's a unit there that's not theirs, but it's not an offensive unit, so they don't attack it.
Yeah, it can't be attack move. That's like the biggest issue is you can't just A move near it.
You have to click it.
You have to attack click it, which seems so risky to program that in, because then if something goes wrong and you all of a sudden start attack clicking your own units or buildings or anything like that, it can go south very quickly.
There we go. EPN Roach with the good hold and the win here. And kind of based on that, I'm gonna think that the next game goes pretty similar, because I think Dovakin does that. It's often there's certain things that are just like qualification checks that are like, do you have worker rush defense? Yes, then you're fine. If not, then no, you're gonna die.
In the FGC chump checks,
Yes,
you get chump checked a little bit, and I feel like honestly the very first chump check is EPN Roach scouts with the drone at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that alone already throws Dovakin into such turmoil of following the drone all the way back, and it just messes up all the timings that I'm sure Dovakin practices with or is set up to do. So
you want to do your little complex thing, and he's just there with his Fox laser on the other side of Final Destination shooting you. Yeah. Whatever. I don't know if anything I don't think he really has a deviation from this, really, because this is kind of what we saw in the first round as well, but we'll see. I don't know how it would particularly go different.
The only way I could think is if there some maps will, weirdly enough, like the probe like locations, you'll kind of go on two different sides of the same middle thing. So maybe if they dodge them, but even so, the actual fight when he got there did not look good.
I think he loses the fight anyway. So we'll see. Hopping in to what may be our last match of the night. Let's go.
EPN Roach. Dovakin.
I guess technically he's got less drones there now than he did later, but he lost that fight pretty bad. So
and if they still mineral walk through,
they're doing it.
I think the problem is they attack again so quickly that even if they do have the unarmed thing you're talking about, the threat level becomes true again so quickly that it just looks so rough. 0 losses for
you can lose those a little and recover, but you can't lose it 5-0 and recover. It's over.
That's a really rough start. It was I think our mics are muted for the very beginning, so I do want to point out that it was the thing I was talking about where the drones did avoid each other, which is kind of Dovakin's. That's the first chump check that he needs to pass. Is just getting lucky enough that he doesn't chase a probe or a worker for too long. But the micro situation is just not good enough for the actual worker fight that occurs on EPN Roach's side.
So let's see here. He's sending more drones for his second thing this time. That could help if Lings can catch up to him, but
I'm surprised he sent them before the Lings
even
came out, because the pool is done. He set up for Lings, but the waiting. Overlord supply block is
that's
pretty brutal here.
Oh well.
And once this pool finishes, EPN Roach is throwing down a Roach Warren. The second that it's done, and very soon after that it'll be curtains for good old Dovakin. There's the Roach Warren.
It's this. I'm not sure what's going on here. I kind of want to understand it. Is what I understand attacking the hatch, and I understand not attacking the hatch. I don't understand what's making him change his
The
mind.
indecision, yeah.
Because he's not seeing any new information.
Yeah, it's not like a unit's coming up and down the ramp, going in and out of sight or something. It's literally, you have a situation and you have two things that you kind of want to do, and they're both pulling you.
Yeah.
Either way.
So I don't know. He's certainly doing better with these ones, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it might be almost like you're being too quick at disengaging and engaging again.
Yeah.
And you need a little bit more time to let the drone breathe and not get attacked for a second.
Yeah.
I feel like it's again that like there is a such thing as over micro, and too many inputs is not always better.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're pulling back but attacking immediately again, you're not really pulling back. It's just, it's not really letting your units do the thing that they need to do, which is disengage.
Yeah, and here seeing the APM too is interesting. Like EPN Roach is kind of at, still a superhuman APM, but not a computery one.
Like almost Rainer.
Reasonable. Whereas Dovakin is maybe doing too much, although that's what you usually see from the bots is like tens of thousands. But EPN Roach a little more normalish.
Which, like, for attacking, I totally get. The Vikings that we saw, I forget who it was last week, but the Vikings, it probably was, consistently like moving and attacking almost the same at the same time. That's gorgeous, but the disengage is a very different type of micro where you're not just trying to disengage fast and attack again fast, because then you're not getting out of the fight. you're getting back into the fight as soon as possible, which is for these guys immediately, instantly. So this Roach ball is going to build up, and then the pain train is going to come across the map.
Indeed. And their behavior must be such that like they're rallying to a certain spot, at which point they then engage, because they're obviously ignoring any of these things.
Yeah, they're on move command and not attack move right now, you're saying?
Which is sometimes good, because then you can't be distracted. It's obviously bad in this case where you just get annihilated on your way across. But yeah, it's kind of to what point is it doing that? And is that then maybe what's causing it to do this engage, disengage on buildings? Because it keeps wanting to go to like the main hatchery, and then it starts doing stuff, but that seems too far.
Yeah, like sees the natural and then wants to attack the natural, but then it wants to move command back up.
So,
and honestly, EPN Roach is like, the way that this group moves as well is very interesting, because they don't chase the lings that do get by. Every once in a while, one or two lings will go past them, and they still want to move into Dovakin's main. So whatever logic that they have, I really enjoy the fact they are moving, they are attacking, but they are not moving completely, and they're not also move commanding completely.
Yeah, they're not committed. It will even take a step or two backwards to finish it off, but it won't chase it.
Yeah, that's all it will do. And then it's like,
really cool.
All right, now it's a little too far. Now it's not worth it, which is just such a huge, it's a huge advantage, and it seems like such a hard thing to find the perfect line of when do you ignore stuff, when do you keep moving, when do you attack, and just try to balance all that.
Sure, Dovakin was trying to go up to the Spire.
I love the Spire.
I
mean, off 40 gas, maybe not, but
yeah,
the idea of Spire is cool.
It kind of makes sense of if you're Ling all-inning, basically, and at 6 minutes you haven't won, then you've either lost or this will work.
Or it's like Terran and they've like flown away, and you need to like kill them with the air.
Yeah, exactly. Like you maybe just need this to finish it. But so there you go. EPN Roach looking pretty good. Yeah,
I feel like all those matches, I was expecting some of them to be pretty like back and forth, and because we had some 2-1s even on the winner side, but these were all pretty. Both games looked similar in each set, and they were like, this bot is doing this thing and it's not working, and this bot's just gonna defend it again and then win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, most look pretty decisive. The one that it's a shame that it was the losers match is it's Perilous Protoss spot, because it looks, I would say, out of the ones that we've seen tonight that are getting knocked out, it's probably the best one. But so unfortunate path there, but I hope we see him again in the future. And Dovakin we've seen in the past, but whatever, it almost seemed worse today. So maybe something was changed to attempt to improve it, but made it worse a little bit. But
it also was really good worker pull defense, which is just like, if you're built off chump checks and the guy's not a chump, you're gonna look pretty silly doing those checks.
Yeah, exactly.
But if the guy's a chump, you look pretty good. I would know.
Yeah. There we got so the first one, Kanana going through, Neona making it through Phantombot. That one looked, again, Phantombot looked all right, and we've seen it in the past, so I hope we get return there as well. But Neona looked pretty strong with the proxy.
4X looks so good.
It's just really good. Yeah.
If you're gonna rush, play Terran and do some get those Marines out.
Exactly. Here we had Ender over Perilous ProBot, both of them super developed bots. And Perilous Protoss just had no Ketrock, you're not going to beat. And then Ender just looked really good. But if Perilous had any other path, I think could have made it. So just unfortunate there. And then our last group that we just saw, obviously Dovakin falling to the reverse, the successful chump check. The successful chump certification.
the chump E or the chump something.
Whatever it is. So pretty good. We'll get the winners matches coming up next week. Those ones, again, we'll see some higher level stuff, and anyone losing there, of course, won't be knocked out. They'll be knocked down to the
losers.
Losers. The losers consolation sub-loser basement
elimination match.
Yeah. The 1-1 but lost when it counted bracket.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, and then we'll have our first 4 people going through to our main single elim bracket next week. Plugs, check out ProBotsAI.com. Like and subscribe below if you have not done so already. In fact, even if you have done so already, just subscribe a bunch of times.
Make a new account. Subscribe again
with them. Do it again. Whatever it is you want. Show some boats in the chat. And we've got they keep changing the name of this thing, but we had the membership that we used to call the Crown Club. We're now calling it the Code Bot Guild, which I don't know.
Pretty cool.
It's super cool. I said it the moment I heard it. I was like, "That's the best name."
That's a freaking good idea.
It's a really good name. It sounds great. It meets the idea that it's high tech, but references a guild. Excellent. And if you're interested, of course, in getting involved in making bots and things like that, there is, templates for this, usually in our description down below, that you can get templates off of GitHub. It'll get you up and running, starting to build a bot and kind of give you something functional to start working with. And it's a lot of fun. Our Dovakin, who is in our ear, upset that I made fun of his club name, it does streams about once a week of him coding his micro Zerg bot and stuff like that. So if you want to check that out, then please do so. So, and then, of course, shout out to AI Arena itself, which is the whole main thing of this. We do our little dog and pony show here, but they're doing like the daily laddering, like hardcore ladder where they play like thousands of times and stuff like that. So that's where we get our qualifiers from. Get them at aiarena.net.
And that's where we get all our stats, right? Those bots playing on that server.
Yeah, the elos from that ladder, the win rates, all that stuff. Like that's how then the whole idea is the top 16 qualify into this tournament. But they do their own competitions and stuff as well, where instead of a best of 3, it's like a best of 256 or whatever.
So sick.
Yeah.
It's like the Deadliest Warrior, where it's like, all right, we're just going to simulate this 1,000 times. This is what happened.
I love that show, and it's such bullshit. Like, There's no way you didn't simulate shit. like you rolled like 6 dice and was like, oh,
two guys dressed up as a samurai and a pirate.
Yeah,
and they just went at it.
Yeah, it's super dumb. Like they do all these tests beforehand and like be like, well, this thing killed a coconut, and so we're gonna give it a 4.
Slice like, 5 bags of milk.
Whatever. Yeah, but still a great my favorite part of that show is when they have like, this is a Maori warrior against a ninja, and then just kind of on the show they have like a Japanese guy and a Maori guy who are really offended anytime anyone's critical of their thing.
Like, I'm pretty sure we would win, dude.
Yeah. Like especially like ninja ones, they're like, no, like nunchucks are really cool, you don't understand. And they're like, this seems to suck, it's just a stick on a chain. It's not pointy at all. And they're like, no, you don't get it.
You don't get it.
Great show. So definitely check out their YouTube channel as well. I'm sure they have one. They used to be on Spike TV. I don't know if that even exists anymore. I don't have a TV.
I feel like no one has cable anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. I'm sure it's around. You can find them. If I watch a show like that nowadays, it's because I'm in a hotel.
Yeah,
that's when you see there's it's like Deadliest Warrior and like
Impractical Jokers.
Rescue.
It's on like every channel.
That's it. That is all that's on TV now. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back same time next week with another episode of Impractical Jokers. It's a shame that Joe Gatto left. He was the lifeblood to me, but oh well. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and see you next week.
Bye, everybody.